Bunsen here. Went out on a school night last night. But anyway, welcome, hola, bon dia, alegria, to the Good Morning Portugal show, live stream and podcast from expatsportugal.com. Tudo bem? Como estás? How are you today? Who's in this morning? Let's take a look, shall we? Wonderful guest this morning, expat legend, is the Cindy Vine, who's joining us at 9 o'clock. And I think a few of you with a leaning towards your own quinta in the country and doing up a place. A fixer-upper, a doer-upper type of person will be especially interested in Cindy's story. New song from Warren. Let me just ask you the question. Have you done your 15 minutes? Because Warren's new song is connected to our initiative to learn more Portuguese. Oh, there's some WhatsApps coming in. I thought I'd turn those notifications off, but keep them coming. You'll light up Christmas pics and videos and anything else that you think should be shared with the community here. But look, did you do your 15 minutes yesterday? This is going pretty well, isn't it? Did you do your 15 minutes of Portuguese? And we added to that, didn't we, fairly recently, the I Did It in Portuguese award as well. And if you did something, if you spoke in Portuguese and managed to get yourself to a new level of understanding or service in Portugal, we want to hear from you. And we've got a song that we can play for you. So when somebody tells me they did it in Portuguese, I'm going to play the new song inspired by that and gifted to us by the wonderful Warren Charm, who made all the other wonderful tracks for us that we've been enjoying over these last few months. Classics that are making their way towards becoming a Christmas album, I think. Okay, let's say hello to a few people this morning then. Prof. Eusebio's here. And yes, I was out on a school night last night. The gathering was superb. Thank you to everybody who came along. But I think I talked a little bit too much, which will come as a surprise to everybody, won't it? So a little bit of a sore throat this morning and a little bit of a social fatigue, not in a bad way. But yeah, out on a school night and had a lovely evening. So thank you very much to everybody who was able to turn up for that. And thank you very much to Caravella, to our wonderful hosts, Simon and Bruno and Susan, whose pumpkin pie I was still eating this morning. Fantastic. So Thunder's here. Good morning to you, Bon dia alegria from Thunder. Our standard greeting, in case you don't know, it's Bon dia alegria. Has anybody tried that? A couple of questions for you this morning. Has anybody tried that in everyday life? Have you said that to a Portuguese person, or do you just keep that for here? Your Bon dia alegria. And also, what was the other thing I wanted to ask you? Yeah, on the opening titles, how many of those scenes? Because I normally I'm frenetically downloading pictures or doing things while that theme tune's on, and I don't always watch it. I watched it this morning, and I thought, yes, all these lovely places. Do my dear friends here know where all of those scenes are? So maybe tomorrow morning on Feel Good Friday, you can let me know how many of those you recognise. Okay, Bom dia, Portugal de Beira Beija. Oh, okay. Is that a reference to Cindy, I wonder, the Beira region there? Let me know, Prof. Eusebio. Today in Portuguese history, let's go straight into this. 2008. Excuse me, yeah. A night out last night took it out of me a bit. 2008, the Alto Minho wind farm in the Viana do Castelo region comes on grid. At the time of completion, it was Europe's biggest onshore wind farm. And look at this, it provides enough electricity for up to 1 million people. A total of 120 windmills are dotted across the Alto Minho. And since then, I think Portugal has put loads more wind turbines up. And on occasion, I think, is completely powered by renewables and alternative energy sources rather than coal on occasion. And that's a good trend, I think, isn't it? Depends who you speak to. But Olá, bom dia, todos de Amsterdam. That says Amsterdam. 15 minutes today already. Well done, Matty. How are you? And I think, look, this is for Cindy, isn't it? Hui got het met Thandi. Is that a bit of Dutch there? Bon dia, meu amigos from Owen. Good morning to you, Owen. Great to have you here this morning. And today in Portuguese history too. Going through these in sequence today, not jumping about all over the place. 1940, the Exposição do Mundo Português ends in Lisbon, having been visited by 3 million people. Wow, the World Exhibition, Portuguese World Exhibition, 1940. And that's interesting, isn't it? During the Second World War there, still visited by 3 million people. I wonder, have you got any pictures, Prof. Eusebio? I bet that was amazing. Portuguese World Exhibition, the Exposição do Mundo Português, marks 800 years since the foundation of the country and 300 years since the restoration of independence. held in the Praça do Império. And yes, I'm still a little bit embarrassed after yesterday's thinking that the day of the restauradores was something to do with restaurants. But I think etymologically they share a root, don't they? And João F., thank you so much for sending this in. Look, this is what Portuguese kids, well, certainly when João F. was at school, this is in the textbooks, celebrating the Day of Liberty. Look at this, Liberdade, Liberdade, when Philip II previously became Philip I of Portugal, and then I think was routed, and independence was restored to Portugal on this day in history. Was it 1460 when that happened, and celebrated on the 1st of December? So, O Dia a Restauração de Nossa Independência. So yes, there you go. The restoration of Portugal's independence, not a celebration of restaurant workers. But yes, understandably, still embarrassed about that. But etymologically, isn't that what happens? You go to a restaurant to be restored. I think that may be the case. Isn't that lovely? A lovely idea. Okay, thanks for that, though, Prof. Eusebio. Excellent stuff. The Portuguese World Exhibition tied in again to independence for Portugal from Spain. Thunderduck, midlife crisis world tour scene. Life is good. Always good to read out messages like that, isn't it? Bom dia todos from Jim. We'll have a look at the weather and the news in a minute in anticipation of Cindy joining us. Looking forward to having a great chat with her. She's a real character. Feed World Chess Championship update. Game 5 yesterday ended in a draw. That's 5 draws in a row. More draws than your grandma's top draw. That didn't work, did it? Today is a bye. What does that mean? Game 6 is tomorrow. Today is a bye, as in what they're in a rest of. They rest their brains. Game 6 is tomorrow with Magnus Carlsen playing white. Making chess sound very exciting there, Thunder, which that Netflix series did as well, didn't it? That made chess exciting and sexy. Hola Gumpers from James. Feliz Quinta Toros. Thank you, James, for your Feliz Quinta. And Estudei Português 50 minutes on time. Well done, mates. The 15-minute tradition is well and truly a habit of Mr. Holiday in Ericeira. And Thunderduck, Pedro Damiano, born in 1480 with an HPI of 60. What is this? What are they talking about? Hold on a minute. Surely not. A chess player born in 1480 with an HPI, what does that mean? Of 65.56. Is that good? Is the most famous Portuguese chess player. I have no idea if that's any good, but I think Thunder's going to tell us. Okay, I don't know the HPI. Today's ratings are ELO. Not the famous rock combo, I don't think. Chess talk there. Since the year 2000, chess play has improved dramatically due to computer engines. Before 2000, only 6 players ever reached a rank of 2,200. We can determine this by studying old games. Okay, chess nerd. Today, 21 players have achieved a rating of over 2,200. Right now, there are 2 players over 2,800, and they're pitting their wits against computers and getting better. Isn't that amazing? The top chess engine is called Stockfish. Top players use it to study their own games and the games of future opponents. Isn't that amazing how man and machine are coming together in an effort to improve human intellect and ingenuity? Fantastic. Bon dia, alegria todos, 0 minute. Why? What's happened, Francis? And thank you for your picture of your now gone moustache. You can see the hairy banana slug has gone from my face too. Foi ao médico de amanhã. Not sure entirely. Well, you've got a medical to tomorrow there. Okay, but take your Portuguese books or tapes or whatever you do, and you can listen to those while you're waiting. Maybe, of course, for most people, watching a chess match is like watching beige paint dry. Yes, I guess you're unless you're really into it. It sounds like you might be, Thunder. Mo Semba, it's go Semba. It's gone. Tashless. It has been noticed and noted. Have we? I think all of us who are growing a bit of facial hair from Movember have taken the first opportunity to be rid of it. Mrs. M is very happy, I've got to say. Hi all from Project Frugal. How are you, Vinny? And bon dia, Carl, from a fresh Belfast at 3 degrees 15 minutes yesterday. Well done. Oh, nothing serious. So the medical is tennis elbow. What you been up to? Probably not tennis. Tudo bem? From Carlos Martins Vitor. How are you? Por aí passou. We're all good here. Thank you very much, Carlos. And yay, Cindy. Luke and Sarah's off-grid life are happy that Cindy's joining us. And great to see you two here. How are you? Marty's here also. Bon dia from Serra da Estrela. How is it over there? Must be very... the word that comes to mind is magnificent. I was out last night with my Serra da Estrela woolen hoodie on. And it always gives me a great pleasure to know that the wool inside that hoodie made by Troja Mosha in Coimbra. They sourced the wool for it from the Serra da Estrela sheep. Send us some pics, Marty, if you will. So there you go, November. Thank you very much, Francis. And bon dia alegria from Mark. Mark's here, as is Suze. And glad to see Movember Stash is gone. What's next, Carl? I don't know, maybe a chest wax. What do you think? 15 minutes for Jim. Well done, Jim. And Abu Muhammad is here. Bon dia. Thank you, Abu. And bon dia from Villarreal de Santo Antonio. Hey, Anna, how are you this morning? And Jacqueline Branco's here. Hey, Jacqueline. I liked the Movember Stash, says Abu. Well, thank you very much. Gone now. I could have saved it for you if you'd said earlier. Good morning, Carl. It's been a while, but I saw Cindy's name and couldn't help it. Yep. Get yourself a coffee and we'll be having a chat at 9 o'clock. What does alegria mean? I know the answer to that, but I won't show off. I'm going to let others. Oh, they already have. Look, alegria means joy. Love and joy and peace, the sentiment, I think, of alegria, and that's why we love it so much. Bon dia alegria is the special way of saying hi here on the Good Morning Portugal show. Mac07, 007 is here. Bon dia, the sun's out. I'm very pleased for you. Where are you now? Still on the Silver Coast. And Elra is here. And Nuno is here. And Rugby Colin is here as well. This is fantastic. Have a pleasant day, says Nuno. And good morning all from Rugby Colin. This is fantastic. Thanks, everybody. Maud's here as well, as is Pam. I think Cindy is bringing everybody to the yard this morning. And Sandra Costa is here. Good morning as well from Sandra. Very good country and very beautiful Portugal. Thanks, Maud. And players, hold on. Thunder's still talking about chess here. Players don't rest on bye days. They have teams that study the previous games. My goodness, so no rest for them in their pursuit to be excellent on the board. Can you please give a shout out to Aromaticus? Always. Storm Arwen in the UK and across Europe. Actually, I've got to get rid of those notifications. I don't know why that started again there. Can I do that? Oh, mute notifications. That's annoying, isn't it? That's not just for that person, whoever that person is. I need to go back to the main page of WhatsApp. It's not the most intuitive interface, is it? The old WhatsApp. Here we go. I found it now. Notifications, sound. Let's get rid of that. Let's see if that stops that annoying noise in the background. Not that your messages to me are annoying. It's just I don't need to be a sound every time. We don't need that, do we? So Janine Hides North, a new name to us, I think. Give a shout out to Aromaticus. They're getting seriously abused by some expats and vegan extremists. They deserve support because they are doing a wonderful thing with their cafe restaurant. So please give them support. Otherwise, they will be closing next year. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. And that they're facing some heat over there. How boring are the people who do that sort of thing? Why can't you live and let live? Would be my request and question to you. So I'm sure Arwen is very capable of facing such challenges, but why should she have to? That sounds awful, Janine. Maybe I'll drop Arwen a line and we'll get her back on the show and we'll talk more about her wonderful menu and the incredible service that she's been offering in very difficult circumstances. Get a life, you lot. Vegan extremists? There can't be that many of those in central Portugal, can there? I mean, you make it sound like a small army. I imagine it's just 2 or 3 people, right, with nothing better to do. Anyway, bon dia, próxima semana. Vou in Braga on some manner. So Laura P, up to Braga for a week. Anyone in the area for a cup of coffee? What a lovely idea. And Gary Orgle's back to the UK today. Not entirely happy about it. All right, let's come back to your comments in just a little while. Although, no, hold on a minute. Can't pass over this comment from Will Thompson. Good morning. Just scrolling by, so I thought I'd stick my head in the door. Hi, bye. Got to go to town. Will, always great to see you. How are you? All right. News and weather then. I can't believe it. 1:45 already. Let's bring the weather onto the screen for you, and I'll have a little sip of me soothing honey. It's like I've got a hangover. I had 3 0 alcohol, cerveja sem alcohol beers last night, but I think I talked a little bit too much, which I know is not like me at all, is it? Let's bring onto the screen the weather then. And see what's going on around the country. We're moving towards a nice day tomorrow, I think, won't we, as we spoke about it throughout the week. Onto the screen now, your weather report. The weather in Portugal from Expats Portugal, everybody, and Lisbon. 15 degrees, the high in Lisbon, and it's a rainy day in Lisbon with a low of 11. But yes, that sunny day is on its way for tomorrow, and a rainy weekend, unfortunately. A little bit of rain in Lisbon on Saturday. Cloudy on Sunday. But we're going to have a sunny day on Monday by the look of it. In Porto, 7 degrees currently with a few clouds and 13 the high, a little bit of rain there. And oh, I'm so sorry, 12 degrees the high tomorrow. And a little bit of sun peeking from behind the clouds, a 70-degree low. But look at that. The next few days after that, rain all the way in Porto, sadly. Or not sadly, the garden needs it, and so do the ducks. Coimbra, 9 degrees, scattered clouds at the moment, 14 degrees the high. Rainy day there, started off at 6, and there'll be a 14-degree high tomorrow, 4-degree low, but a sunny day in Coimbra. Sunny in Faro as well for the next few days. Look at that, Friday, Saturday, Sunday and Monday. Temperatures between 15 and 18 in the south. But at the moment, a high of 15 today with light intensity shower rain. That's what it says. And where did we get to yesterday on our tour around the districts? We got to Leiria, didn't we? Let's look at Santarém this morning. 9 degrees with broken clouds, 14 degrees the high, rainy again as it is in a lot of places around the country, but a sunny day tomorrow. And Viseu, 3 degrees, wow, at the moment with a few clouds. Rainy day again today, 11-degree high, starting off at the 3, but up to 13 tomorrow and a sunny day there. Starting off at 2, though, 2 degrees in Viseu. Getting close to frosty weather in Viseu tomorrow. But a nice sunny day to look forward to in most parts of Portugal, it would seem tomorrow. If not complete sun, then a little bit of sun peeking out from behind the clouds. Light up Christmas with a bit of sunshine on the second day of December. And let's have a quick look at some of the news stories, shall we? And who else is here, though, this morning? Capricorn's here with Nola Bon Dia. Faixa de Jazz Funk do Dia is Encore. What a tune by Cheryl Lynn. Now, this was a massive hit. Friday nights at the Lyceum in the Strand. What an amazing... I think I saw Wham there. And Bauhaus. Who else did I see at the Lyceum? Can't remember. Best disco in town with Greg Edwards. Great times in 1982. It's a great track. Okay, thank you very much. Yes, very annoying, says Matty, about the WhatsApp, as I constantly look at my own WhatsApp, but the notification is coming from Carl's computer. Sorry about that. Vegan extremist, boo! Now, not that, as I know Thunder, not that Thunder is against a bit of vegan cuisine, but there's no, it's, in a way, I want to know what's going on. But at the same time, I don't want to talk about people and their bad behavior like that, because I think it gives an overblown sense of their importance. Hold on a minute, but there are too many vegan extremists in central Portugal, Carl. Problem is, they're all keyboard warriors and love bringing down businesses. Happy to come on and talk to you about... Janine, it's a nice offer, but I don't want to talk about those miserable people. Let's talk about how great Arwen's menu is. Let's talk about how I'm sure she does offer great food for vegetarians and vegans. Let's talk about that angle. Otherwise, we're just walking straight into their consciousness, aren't we? And them as a problem. Happy to face them, though, says Janine. They say it will rain in Albufeira too, 17 to 6 degrees, 17 high, 6 degree low, says Laura P. While I'm here in the comments, let's just let Jacqueline enjoy the oxygen of publicity, making an appeal for unused bicycles for school children. My children have got unused bicycles, lazy so-and-sos, for unused bicycles for school children to learn about road sense here at a school in Caldas de Rainha, the EBI school. If people have unused working bikes, this would be much appreciated. Please, people may contact me if they wish. Thank you, says Jacqueline. Okay, there you go. As a previous chef, I don't care what your culinary way is, but don't badmouth businesses because they offer meat too, lol. Oh my goodness. Okay, I dislike any kind of extremism, and I know why, Laura, because you explained to me about that, your reasons for that. But come on, let's not keep talking about those people. Otherwise, we'll attract them here, won't we? Taking up unnecessary space in our chats and comments. You know, it sounds like they've made their point. And it's up to other people to decide, isn't it, whether they want to go to that restaurant or not. Flipping heck. Jog on. Is it okay to say that? Okay, let's have a look at the news from the Portugal Resident and the Portugal News this morning. Obviously, COVID, pandemic, and Omicron dominating the that fearful, scary variant thing. that seems to be quite mild, and there aren't many cases, but still causing chaos around the world, it would seem. And I think you're getting the gist of how I feel about these things. So, a year of uncertainty as Omicron variant sends world into a flat spin. What is a flat spin? I've never heard of that expression. I want to dwell on this particular article. Thanks. I think this is one of Natasha Don's pieces in the Portugal Resident, because it does throw some light. Well, I was going to say it throws some light on the situation of the distinction between restaurants and cafes, and whether you need to show your papers, as it were, as you go into certain establishments, and which ones you need to and which ones you don't. It just talks about it really, and highlights the confusion rather than clarifying it. But I think we should have a look at that just to make some possible sense of the situation. So, new year of uncertainty as Omicron variant. Actually, did anyone? I'm a bit disappointed, guys, because we're supposed to be doing it in Portuguese, as it were. Oh, St. Catherine's here as well. Hello, Kate. Great to see you last night. And Jack Polly as well. Bon dia, alegria. Fantastic. Yeah, where was I? Oh, yes. Has anyone done it in Portuguese? How about Elvis sideburns? I think I could grow some of those, actually. But again, I don't think Mrs. M. She's had to put up with enough in Movember. I'm not going to do that to her, I don't think. Anyway, have you done it in Portuguese? If you have done it in Portuguese, I can play the track. I want to play the track. Warren's new tune that's come in. A flat spin apparently is a state of agitation or panic. Doesn't sound like it, does it? The use of the word flat makes it seem rather underwhelming. A scandal has put the university into a flat spin. Well, I never. Okay. And Jeff's here as well. Hello, Jeff. All right. So let's hold on a minute. Janine's back with us. You should talk about Arwen and Dave's menu, as they're doing something special there in Espinal. I have done. I think Arwen's been with us a couple of times already, Janine, and she's welcome to come back. Let her know when you're next in there, enjoying a full English or whatever it is you love on her menu. Let her know that we'd love to hear from her, and we will focus on the good. And we won't be talking about people who are making other people's lives a misery. There's enough of that in the world, isn't there, with us going into that as well. So hold on a minute. For the third time, new year of uncertainty as Omicron variant sends world into flat spin. We've learned what a flat spin is this morning. Thanks, Thunder, for that. And let's see. So it's Portugal Resident. It's not Natasha, but it sounds like her when I start reading this. Even before the global furore over Omicron, Portugal... there's some great anagrams, aren't there? The Omicron B as an anagram of no crimbo. And something like Omicron Delta is an anagram of media blackout or something. Obviously, it isn't, because there's no K in either of those. But there was a very funny, well, not, is it funny? I don't know. Anagram of Omicron and Delta. Anyway, Portugal was told to brace for a winter of tightened restrictions. Prime Minister Antonio Costa addressed the nation last Thursday to stress that although vaccinations have helped massively, the country has entered a period of greater risk. Pressure on hospitals is increasing, as it invariably does in the winter. And as tough as it is to hear, the vaccinations alone have not stopped transmission. Then Omicron arrived on the scene, and what has appeared last Thursday to be a relatively gentle approach to the winter suddenly got a whole lot tougher. So we know all this, don't we? The most stringent restrictions in place affect arrivals into this country and will run until January the 9th. Now, in a different article, there have been some serious holdups at the airport. Of people being checked for their paperwork. Okay, so it is allow extra time if you're coming in or going out of the airport to Lisbon. I think they're doing a pretty good job, but things have slowed down, and some people have been found to be without the paperwork, and they're going to be fined anything between 300 and 600 euros, and their airline, their carrier, will be fined an eye-watering 20,000. So that should stop pretty soon, shouldn't it? I'm just going to have a sip of my lovely lemon and honey here, and I'm going to play the track. I'm going to play the I Did It in Portuguese track, another masterpiece from Warren. As I just have a little sip of my tea here. Check this out. This is amazing.
I did it in the Portuguese, 15 minutes per day to join the elite. Even tried it out on the street, nothing like doing it in Portuguese. But no one laughed or scolded me. A waitress even brought me out a cup of tea. The Uber driver offered to show me nothing like doing it in Portuguese. So it's a shake, 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 rattle, roll. Oh, let the Portuguese down in my soul. Oh, shake, 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 rattle, roll. Let the Portuguese down in my soul.
Isn't he amazing? Lyrical legend, musical maestro, Warren Charm there. Legend! And another legend for you after 9 in the form of Cindy Vine. So where was I? Here we go. You're trying to get some clarity on what establishments you need to show your papers for and which ones you don't. So this is a big article, probably worth a look if you really want to know what's going on or some speculation thereof. And a very interesting sentiment shared by Manuel S. Fonseca. But let me just jump into it here. Reaching the 85% mark of vaccinations in Portugal, we are now already at 87%, did not end the pandemic, Mr. Costa conceded. It allowed us to reduce cases, hospitalizations and deaths, and has left us in a better position than the rest of Europe. We're better off than the majority of European countries, but we aren't as well off as we would have hoped. The restrictions do have some grey areas, however. For example, cafes, which often provide meals, are not included in the new list of restrictions, meaning people using them are under no obligation to reveal their vaccine status or otherwise. Ditto for restaurant terraces. This throws up, which is not a nice phrase to use when you're talking about restaurants, is it? And this throws up another moot area. Anyone eating on a restaurant terrace will be allowed inside the restaurant to use the lavatory or to pay. Same goes for people purchasing takeaways. No proof of vaccination status will be required. Church masses remain open to everyone. Again, irrespective of showing digital COVID certificates, negative tests. Okay, and this is interesting, I think. Columnist Manuel S. Fonseca has made no bones of what he sees as the lethal combination of cowardice with a total absence of feeling for life. Feeling for life? Yes, I remember that. When did this fear of death take over society, he asks. Good question, Manuel. It is a question being posed increasingly as the world appears to be tying itself in self-defeating knots of prevention. Hear, hear. Even authorities have fallen into confusion by mistakenly stating in Article 18, Clause 157 of the resolution of the Council of Ministers published in state newspaper Diario da República last Sunday, only essential and non-essential journeys are authorized. The World Health Organization has also said, in response to the so far unestablished effects of Omicron, that vulnerable people and anyone over the age of 60 should delay any journeys they may have planned over the festive period. They're so good, aren't they, the World Health Organization? Great job, guys. In the words of President Marcelo, who calmly traveled to Angola for the weekend, when other countries were putting the African country on their travel red list, the moment is one for everyone to take a deep breath. Not committing himself too much there. That Omicron could end up being a repetition of other variants identified in South Africa. And in the other cases, the variants were not in the end so serious. Well, I think, is that what Marcelo is saying? And yes, 13 tests positive for Omicron. The DGS Health Authority has revealed that 13 positive cases have been discovered in Portugal, all of them involving people who remain well, some even showing no symptoms. It's a killer disease when it shows no symptoms and you remain well, isn't it? In Portugal, for the time being, the 13 cases identified are among football players and the technical team of Belenenses SAD. As Sick explains, one of them returned recently from South Africa. And that must be really annoying, mustn't it, when you're in that football team and you feel well and you've got no symptoms, but you've got a positive test. Funny old world, eh? Okay, so what's going on what are you thinking about that in the comments there? And did you like the new song from Warren Charm? Andy's here, and we're going to play our morning tune. And I'm worried, where's Cindy? Cindy's supposed to be here with me quite soon. She's got the link. That's good. So I reckon she'll be here pretty soon. We've got some photos to share until she joins us. So let's play the 9 o'clock tune, shall we? In the 9 o'clock intro, change the mood a little bit. Let's move away from vegan extremists. And what was it? Fear of life or something that Manuel said. I thought it was quite a pretty good sentiment, actually. Let's change the atmosphere. And yes, Janine, please have a word with Arwen. Get her back on the show and we'll talk about all that's good and great about what she does. Okay, and here we go. She's here, everybody. Cindy Vine is here and live, I think, from her wonderful Quinta project. Cindy, good morning to you. How are you?
Good morning. I have the sun shining on half of my face.
Look at you. It looks beautiful there. Where are you? In the tropics?
I'm on the farm sitting in my car so I don't get wind interference.
Oh, there's nothing worse, is there, than a bit of wind interference. That pumpkin pie is having the same effect on me this morning. Now, it's very good of you to be here today. Lots of people have come having heard your name and your appearance on the show. You're a bit of an expat legend, I would say, in Portugal. Tell us your story. When did you arrive here? And what on earth possessed you to come to Portugal and do what you're doing?
Well, it's actually sort of like a bit of a strange story. I had always decided when I was, when you're 30, you decide that when you turn 60, you're going to retire, not knowing what the 30 years in between would be like. So last year I turned 59, and but just before that, I had been looking at maybe retiring in Maine, in the US, because my son lives in the US, and I was working in Norway, and I thought, oh, the weather will be similar. But then I thought, as a South African, to get a green card is going to be really difficult.
Okay.
So then I started looking at other places where I could get cheap property, and I looked at Romania and Bulgaria. And then I thought, oh, maybe I should look at places where it's easy for a South African to be able to get like a residence permit. And I'd been to Portugal I'd backpacked through Portugal in 2018 during one of the summer holiday. So it was sort of sitting in my mind, but I hadn't done much research on Portugal. And then my son said to me, he said, oh, Mom, Cass has resigned herself to the fact that you're going to be living with us. And I thought, nobody's going to resign themselves to the fact that I'm going to live with them. And so I just blurted out, I'm not going to live with you. I'm buying a farm in Portugal. And I thought, oh, crap, now I've got to buy a farm in Portugal.
Do you know what, Cindy? I've told that story, and I hadn't connected it with you because that story is going round as the woman who said that. You know, her children and had said, we're going to look after you in your dotage, etc. And on the story goes just as you've expressed it there. No, I'm going to Portugal, and then she had to go and do it and buy. And it's you. We've made a connection now on that this morning.
Yes, no, it was me. So I came out last year. I managed, there was like a little window of opportunity in our summer holiday because I was in teaching. So there was, where travel opened up temporarily during this pandemic. And I raced across to Portugal, and I looked at about 26 farms in about 3 days, and I fell in love with this one, so I bought it. And then it was difficult to get back, and then I managed to get back in December and plant my fruit trees, and then I moved here in June.
Amazing. So Francis is saying, welcome, Cindy, fellow South African there, and Gemini, lovely story. Yeah, we do love that story. And have the kids been to see the place yet?
No, they don't want to visit me until I get a flush toilet.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, let's talk about that, shall we? Well, I'd like to know about your toilet situation, if I may be so intrusive. And tell us about the pigs, Cindy. There's another question that's come through from Prof. Eusebio this morning.
No, my pigs are doing really well. They don't escape anymore, touch wood, because I've got the electric fence up. And but yeah, they've grown nice. I've got these kuni pigs, which are quite rare in Portugal. There's just one breeder in Viseu, and one down in the Sintra, in the Algarve sort of area. And yeah, I love this breed of pigs because they're like dogs. They're very docile. They're not aggressive like other pigs. So,
Yeah,
and they're smaller
amazing.
and easier to manage.
Okay, well, look, Luke and Sarah here as well. Friends of the show here, obviously friends of yours as well. It'll be great to see you again. Can't wait to see Molly's reaction. And we also had another earlier question for you that came in over half an hour ago from Matty, who was asking about a particular individual. So a lot of your companions there are famous in their own right too, aren't they? I think.
Well, Louise is
Yes.
actually coming she's going to be popping in today. She's busy with a house sit. So she's going to pop in today because she's put a shed up on my farm to keep her things in. So she's going to bring.
That's Louise. So for anyone who doesn't know Louise, that's Louise whose YouTube channel is Expat Solo 50 Plus, isn't it?
Yes, and Luke chopped down my trees, some of my trees for me, like some of the eucalyptus and that. So yeah, and Theo from Indie Projects has popped around.
What an amazing network.
Yeah, no, it's a great network. And Carissa and Ewan from Frank in the Road, they actually just sent me a message yesterday saying they've fallen in love with my puppy, and they would like to pet sit at any time.
Oh,
And,
amazing! So let's go through all of these companions that live with you. Then is Thandy the puppy, or is that somebody else?
No, Tandy is my puppy. I've got an Australia puppy.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. So tell us about all the creatures in your menagerie then.
I've only got the pigs. I've got Oreo. He's the boar. And they are, how old are they? They were born the end of March. So, I mean, they're not even a year old yet. So Oreo is the boar. Then Cocoa Pop is the female, and Mallow Puff and Tim Tam. So they're all the names of like cookies. Because they're not going to be eaten. That's why they're cookies. But Albert Icebine, who is an Iberian castrated male,
Yes.
who is going to be a friend for Oreo if once we start breeding the pigs, because he's named after a piece of meat, he might get eaten.
Oh, okay. Yes, we're just talking about vegan extremists before you joined us this morning, but that's part of farm life here in Portugal, isn't it? The ways of Portugal for over centuries here. So, can you tell us about your vision for your place then? So, you when you announced to your kids that no, I'm going to Portugal, I'm going to buy a farm in Portugal. Then you had to go and do that, and you researched these 20 or so farms, fell in love with one of them, and yet to create a flushing toilet there. What is your vision for what you're doing there? Because I think a lot of people have a similar idea to you. So yeah, tell us about it, and then we'll find out what the reality of it is like.
So, well, it's completely off grid. I'm not connected to any town supplies of anything over here. And my vision is to create a beautiful farm that my children can inherit one day. So I'm doing this so that my kids can actually have some inheritance from me. I was a single mother for many years. So I'm all they've got. So I just want to make sure that I'm leaving them something that's good. So my vision is to, like, I'm nearly finished with restoring the cottage, and then I'm going to I've got like the kitchen, which was like a ruin that I'm turning into the kitchen. Get working on that. I'm going to have a vermi composting flush toilet system like Luke put up with Luke and Sarah, and and I want to create like little pockets of food forests around the farm, like little
Amazing.
orchards, and have lots of fruit trees. And the farm is covered in home oaks, which is great for producing acorns for the pigs.
Yes,
And
yes.
I'd like to sort of, grow food for the pigs and grow food for myself, and get chickens eventually as well.
That is such a beautiful vision, Cindy, and I think one that more and more people are coming into line with. As uncertainty in the ways of the current world are coming into question, it sounds like such a good idea to create more self-sufficiency, interdependency, as we're obviously hearing with how you connect with your local network there. What a lovely gift to your kids. And do they? I mean, I get the impression that they're not quite seeing the gift yet, because they're looking for a few more sort of mod cons sort of stuff.
I think especially my son and my youngest daughter, um, and I mean they support me. They phone me every week, a couple of times a week, to video chat with me. They watch my videos, and
Brilliant.
my videos are a way of showing them that I'm okay and things are happening on the farm.
Do you know what? I think loads of people are wishing you were their mum with the vision that you've got there. We have some lovely comments coming in. Chris Capricorn 12 is here. Cindy, love watching your YouTube channel. Love the giggles that you and Louise have when you get together. They are hilarious, aren't they? Sorry, go on. You were going to say something about Louise there and your adventures.
Oh yeah, no, she's coming. She's coming today at some point to, as I said, put some stuff in the shed that it took her a couple of weeks to build. Every time she popped in between house sits, she did some more work on the shed. And I've got Nick from Project Portugal is coming today. He's going to help me put the guttering up, because
Amazing.
I don't know how to do that.
All the YouTube stars together in one place. So can you tell us which part of Portugal this is for people who are really inspired by your vision, and why wouldn't they be? What do you think is based on your experience? What do you think the best part of Portugal is to do this that you're doing?
I would say central Portugal, and where I am halfway between Fundão and Castelo Branco.
Oh, well, okay. Yeah.
So the closest big-ish town to me, and I say big-ish because it's got a couple of cafes and a tiny supermarket, is Orca. The village that I'm closest to doesn't have a supermarket or anything like that. It's just got like a little bar. That's it.
Amazing. And so tell us about the reality of it as well, then, because for a lot of people this is an inspiring vision, and we can agree on that. The reality, has it all been? Has it been?
The reality is it costs far more than you bargained for or budgeted for. So
Okay.
I arrived here, and I had 10,000 euros in savings, which doesn't sound like much, but I didn't have that much in the way of savings, even though I'd been teaching for 36 years, because I paid for my children's education so that they didn't have student loans. And before I went to Norway, I was in Norway 4 years. I'd started a school for children who couldn't cope in mainstream education. I'd started that in Cape Town, and I had that for 3 years. And in those 3 years, I never drew a salary, and I sold my house to put into the school. So, and when I left to go to Norway a year later, the school shut down. So, yeah, so that would have been like my savings and retirement, but I put it into educating children who didn't have a chance, really.
Amazing.
in mainstream
Amazing.
education.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that money that might have been your refurbishment fund was used elsewhere for a great cause, obviously, by the sound of it. But it costs a lot more than you originally imagined.
Yeah.
To
So
what you want to do.
what cost me a lot was like, you look at like material costs and whatever, but because I hadn't done this before, you pricing and working out the materials, but then you discover you need a lot more materials than you thought that you would need, and stuff that you didn't even know existed.
Yes.
It's that's all very like today, we're going to put gutters up. But I didn't know you have to have all these other fittings that go with it and all these things. So when you work out your budget, you've got to know, like, each thing. Just putting up gutters, it's not just buying gutters.
Yeah, absolutely.
And luckily Nick is coming to help me, but I did spend a lot of money earlier on like labor to get people to help, and then it was like when it was using up all my money on that, I then luckily, I hadn't even advertised for volunteers, and some volunteers just rocked up. I had a Dutch couple that just arrived. I came to the farm, and they were sitting on camp chairs next to their camper van, and I like looked, and they said, "Oh, we stopped in town and we thought, oh, this must be the area where you stay," and we asked directions to the farm. And they were fantastic. They stayed for 3 weeks, and they built my kitchen roof and put a new roof on the cottage for me, and it was
Fantastic.
amazing.
That is
Yeah.
lovely. And you're open to that, are you? Because I suppose for people who aren't quite sure if it's for them, do you do woofer type stays, and are you open to more volunteers coming?
I'm definitely open to volunteers coming, but at the moment, like, because I haven't got a kitchen set up, I can't like cook for people, or
Okay.
but I will get to that stage. So I'm renting like a really tiny, freezing cold apartment in this little village at the moment. But I'm hoping this January I'm going to move into my cottage over here, because I've got a lovely
Oh,
wood burner I brought from Norway. It warms it up so nicely. It's much warmer here, so I don't know why I'm still
Cindy,
staying
you're
in that
amazing.
apartment.
You're amazing. So that's a key lesson to learn then. If you're going to be approaching moving to Portugal in this way, is things can cost a lot more than you originally imagined. And
it's not easy to get labor. It's not easy to get skilled people to help you with the work, especially if you're living in the wop-wops like I am.
Amazing. Okay, we love to follow the expats living in Portugal and stalk them on Google Earth. I'm not sure you should be admitting to this, Vinny, when we can find them. Got about 6 so far. The locations of YouTubers will help with our eventual move, hopefully next year, to decide where to live, as I've probably lost my job today. What? Due to New Zealand government. Your area looks good though, Cindy, but quite quiet. Well, Vinny, I'm sorry to hear that. If that's happening. And Lynn asking directly, where is your village? But the place you mentioned was Orca, wasn't it? I think, Cindy?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes,
Orca.
near Orca. Near Orca.
Okay. And if for people wanting to research the area for the feasibility of their own Quinta-style dream, that area over there near Fundão, near Castelo Branco, that part of the world where a lot of people, a lot of attention is on that part of Portugal. It's a great way to live the off-grid life. It's been a warm, dry week so far, thankfully, says Paul, Louise, and Lottie, who've come in to see you. Was great. This is one of the realities, of course, isn't it? That it's a lot harder work than people might realise. Was great to see you, Carl and Cindy, but we'll need to continue watching this later. The goats are telling me they need to go for a walk. Have a great day, from Luke and Sarah. So, have you found? Were you expecting it to be? Anyway, or do you think, is it harder work than you imagined originally, Cindy?
I won't say it's necessarily harder work. It's just like I remembered the things that I could do when I was younger, and I thought I could still do a lot of those things, but it turns out I can't.
Okay.
So that's the reality. So I need sort of like a lot more help.
Okay.
Can you just hold on a minute? I've got
Of course you
someone
can.
here. Just hold on.
Yeah, of course. No problem at all. So Cindy Vine is with us, folks, this morning. If you've got any questions for her, do let us know in the chat. And Suze, I'll ask her this one in just a minute when she comes back. Wondering what resident permit you've got. She may well answer that as well. And good morning to Cyborg Entertainment, backing tracks and karaoke productions. I think it's pretty obvious what you guys do. Cindy was saying that in her latest video, Tandy dropped her modem and she's probably eating it by now. So you got a bit of a naughty puppy there by the sound of it, Cindy.
Oh, she does these like little crazy dances around, and she like managed to dance and knock the modem wire that sent the modem flying.
Yes.
It wasn't
Okay. And
intentional. So
no, they're so forgivable, aren't they, puppies? They never mean to cause all the mayhem that they create. We've got Jimmy Choo here, who's much the same.
yeah.
St. Catherine thinks you're an astonishing woman, and I would agree with her. We have had a question about what sort of resident permit you got. I don't know if you're happy to answer that or not, Cindy, but
yeah. So I got everything all ready to apply for this D7 visa.
yeah,
And I went to the Portuguese embassy in Oslo, and they said to me, "Well, you're wasting your time applying for the D7 visa because you've been resident in Norway for 4 years. You just
fantastic.
use your Norwegian residence card to get the crew." And then I asked other people, and they said, "Oh no, they're giving you the wrong advice." And I thought, well, that's very strange for an embassy to give people the wrong advice. So what happened is I actually then ended up getting my residency in 15 minutes, also like one of these random spontaneous things.
Brilliant.
I went, Louise was here at that time. And I said to her, I needed to go into Fundau to get some water pipes. And my son was having his wedding in South Africa. And obviously he wanted me to go to the wedding. And my flight I was going to be leaving for South Africa on the Wednesday. But I let him know on the Sunday that I probably won't be able to go because of the COVID restrictions, number one. But the second thing is because I haven't got a visa. I haven't, if I leave Portugal, I don't think I'm going to be able to come back because I don't have Portuguese residency to travel. And he phoned me on the Monday, and he just arrived in South Africa for the wedding that was going to be the next week. And he said, well, Mom, just give it a go. So I said, well, I'm in Fundau now getting water pipe. I may as well just go to the camera. And I went to the camera, and they weren't interested in my South African passport. I showed them my attestado that I got from Orca and from the junta, and my Norwegian residence card, and I got the crew. I got 5 years residence.
You're obviously meant to be here. You are obviously meant to be here.
So I phoned him up and I said, okay, I'll be on the flight after all.
Oh, that's brilliant. Oh, I'm so glad you were able to make that. That's fantastic. Mr. Ketan72 says, hey, Cindy, your story inspires this Zimbabwean who is applying for visas. The secret to budgeting is double the costs and halve the revenue. So if you can stay with us a bit longer, Cindy, if we can talk about the off-grid infrastructure. The off-grid life, as I said, is appealing to more and more people as energy costs go up. I was in a supermarket yesterday, there was a power cut, and I was thinking, it's very wise to be growing more of your own food and becoming more self-sufficient. It was quite a shock. Which bits of off-grid infrastructure are you investing in? What's important to you?
So I invested in a solar panel system, and I managed to get a really good deal from a Spanish company. That I got a hybrid inverter and the 4 large solar panels, and but it's the lead acid batteries, and it only cost me 1,500 euros.
Wow. Okay. And what sort of power does that give you for 1,500 euros?
Well, at the moment, all I'm doing is running the fridge. I had someone sort of help a little bit to connect it to the one wire that goes to the fridge and one wire that goes to like an adapter. And I have been struggling for over a month to find someone that can do electrics to actually like put the lights in and put the plug points in. So I've got all the stuff, I just don't know
Okay.
how to do it.
Well, there may
Yeah.
well be someone who's thinking, I'll do that for Cindy. So I'm sure they can get in touch with you via YouTube and maybe put on a comment there. But so basically, for 1,500 with 4 panels, you can be firing up a lighting system, a basic level of sockets, and you're
Yeah.
obviously powering up already.
So it's quite a biggish system that apparently, this is what they say now. I haven't tested it obviously, but I can run a fridge, a freezer, a washing machine, a microwave for 15 minutes, and two TV sets and all the other, charging and things that you do, and
Amazing.
lights and that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that's power.
Yeah.
That's a solar part. You mentioned your vermiculture toilet, which of course is worms taking care of business, literally. There.
Yes.
How does that system work, and what sort of investment would that be for people?
Well, I got Frank de Digger, who's quite famous in this area. He came with his digger, and so he's dug the holes and the trenches and everything. Now I just have to buy the pipes. And I actually don't know what pipes to buy. So I've got to do a bit of research about that. And to set up this vermi toilet. So I've got all the trenches and everything dug already.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got to just do that. At the moment, I haven't had to use any sort of like toilet on the farm. So I've managed to avoid that part. And one thing that you learn over here is you learn to just, when you need to have a wee, you can just drop the pants and squat wherever, and you just,
of course. Yep.
That's just part of life here. If a man can do it against a tree, I can do it behind a bush. That's it.
Well said. Equality of opportunity there, I think, Cindy. Perfectly put.
Yes.
Okay, we recognised your rocks, Cindy. They're amazing. Enjoyed watching your travels from Scandinavia down to Portugal, and glad you've settled in now, says Vinny at Project Frugal. And my mother says, Prof. Eusebio grew up not far from Cindy's farm. Always feels like real Portugal to me. Would you agree with that? Do you think that this is the real spirit of Portugal is alive and well in that part of central Portugal?
I think so. Definitely this little town or this little village where I stay, it's like mostly old people. They don't speak any English. So I have this app on my phone that's called Say Hi. So I converse with them through Say Hi in my very limited Portuguese, which I'm trying to learn more words.
Mm-hmm.
So
okay, brilliant. Oh, well done.
But I have to learn over here because nobody speaks English.
Great. Excellent. It's a great incentive, isn't it? Matty says Nick will be able to help you out with the electrics. If not, I'll help you with the electrics. There's an offer there from Matty, who's moving towards central Portugal real soon. So there's an offer for you to get all
that
that
will be
solar stuff
awesome.
sorted out. There you go, Matty.
Because I've still
Thanks.
got my solar panels. Sorry, my solar panels are still resting against beer crates because I haven't made, like, I don't know how I could make a frame for them. And now I was looking this morning and wondering maybe I should put them on the kitchen roof. And then I thought, but I don't know how to do that either. So it's, you learn as you go. That's what I'm finding.
Absolutely. You've got to, haven't you? I'm sure Matty will be very helpful with that. Thanks, Cindy. I'm a Canadian in Finland, says Suze, with a little taxi there in a picture with a residence permit A here. Wondering if I can get to Portugal faster after hearing your story. Not a D7 then. Finnish sits CV only confuses me. So I'm not sure what that means. But yes, Suze, if you've become Finnish effectively, then it may be that you can just use your European method of becoming a resident in Portugal.
But
Well
I
worth
didn't
checking
even
out.
become Norwegian.
Oh, it was just a de
I
facto
just
because
had
you've been there for
residence
4
in
years.
Norwegian. If you've got residence,
Yeah.
if you've got residence, then you are treated like you are a citizen.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Similar. If you settle in Portugal, that's so excellent news. That might be a really lovely turn up for the books for Suze there. Hi, Cindy from Jarndis, Helena Mitchell. I love following your progress. You're one of my heroes each week, Cindy. My question is, what is the most needed item you need for your build so you can move into your cottage?
The most needed item I need, labor, skills, someone
people.
to help me.
Yeah. Okay. Is that an offer then from
Yeah.
Helena Mitchell?
I mean,
There, I wonder.
I've got.
Go on. Sorry, we've got a
I've
bit of a delay.
basically, like, I need to like build a dog kennel and things. That's what I've got to do. I've got building stuff to do. I've got
Never
most
a
of the
dull moment.
materials. Yeah.
But you need the labour and some of the know-how to put it all together. Okay, got it. Cindy, you're a great advert for South Africans just doing it. And there's something about the South African spirit for sure, isn't there, that I think is embodied in you. So Wendy, appreciating you there. A midlife crisis world tour, Prof. Eusebio to us. Everything was off-grid in my grandparents' farm in Portugal when I went as a boy. We need to get you on the show, Prof, to talk about your life, your earlier life when you went and hung out with your grandparents in Portugal. That would be amazing to do that. Paul Louise Lottie, R. Aldea, lives and works with the seasons. Real Portugal, and I think that's sort of chiming in with your sentiment there. I mean, you're, as well as being off grid and trying to bring in some of the infrastructure that you need to live a functional life. It sounds like you are in tune with nature there. Is that true?
Yeah, I definitely feel in tune with nature over here. And for the South Africans that are listening, I do make my own boerewors and biltong. So if anybody needs boerewors, I'll make that. Yeah, another tip I would give people is if you're planning to live off grid, just make sure that you have some sort of source of income, because you're not going to be able to live off the land straight away. And as I said, things cost money.
Yeah.
And I still do like online. I still do my assignments, the International Baccalaureate. So I give teacher training workshops, and I do like school visits and consultation stuff and that. And that's what I survive on, and that's why every month I have to wait for that money to fork out on buying new materials and whatever again. Eventually I'll be able to start saving once I have stopped having to always buy new stuff we're going to need for each part of the build.
Yeah, no, fair enough. I wanted to ask you about that because I saw that on one of your recent videos. Is being able to have an income stream? It's really important, isn't it? Because I mean, it must be very frustrating to have a huge schedule of works, but
It's
neither
very
the
important.
fund. Yeah, so you've got to get an income stream coming in, and there you are off grid, but still managing to do that. So how is it with internet connections in that part of central Portugal?
Well, on the farm, I've got 4G. So I'm on my phone using 4G. And in that little apartment that I have, the internet there is quite bad. It's only like 3G. So I actually have better internet on the farm.
Oh, okay.
And I've got strong 4G here. Yeah.
Okay, so very doable then, and important. Maybe think about having if you want to live in the same way as Cindy, and if you want to realize the same sort of dream, think about an internet-based business. But there's always the Boerewors and Biltong empire that you could create here for the increasing number of South Africans coming to Portugal. That could be a nice little income.
Yeah.
I think we've got a bit.
Yeah, I do the biltong, and I can make all like the South African favorites, the societies and the baburtis and I like cooking. So yeah.
I think we've got a bit of a lag and a delay on the line. But just one more thing then, Cindy. Thank you. I appreciate you joining me this morning. I know you're very busy. You've got stuff to do. Nick's coming over. Louise is coming over. Do send my best to Louise. Any final advice then for people considering Portugal, just in its own right as a country to come to? And secondly, what, as well as the budgeting thing, what else do they need to know about living life off grid? What other considerations?
I would say my best advice is, this is your dream. Don't delay your dream, because a dream without action just stays a dream. And you've got to just be a risk taker and do it. You can't talk about, I wish I had done that. I wish, life is too short for regrets. You have to just take the plunge, and you have to just do it. And this for me was not a difficult thing. In international education for most of my career, so I've done 15 countries. So it's not a big thing. I really love Portugal. I love and I love the feeling that you feel safe over here. Like, I wouldn't have been able to be a lone woman having a farm like this in South Africa without big fences around, and so the safety, I think, is a bonus over here, and is affordable. Yeah, that's what I
That's
like.
amazing. That is amazing, and a brilliant note to end on there, Cindy. Thanks for joining us this morning. Max Flight agrees. Don't delay your dream. Wow, powerful and good advice. And I think people, as well as your story about what you told the kids, I think this will live on in people's minds as well. Don't delay your dream. Get on with it. And I think you said, a dream without action, it remains a dream. So thank you so much. All the best to you. Good luck with the guttering today. Good luck with the electrics. Matty will help you out with that. And we look forward to catching up with you again soon sometime. I'm allowing a little bit of time for
Thank
the
you so much
lag.
for having me on the show.
It's an absolute pleasure and inspiration, Cindy. Take care. Bye for now. Lots of love. Ciao, ciao. There she goes.
Bye.
There she goes with her sunny Santa beard there, as Thunder Duck was saying, a sunshine beard. Fantastic. What an inspiration. Remember that, folks. And that's the condition I think a lot of people are in, watching this show, perhaps, right? That you're thinking of coming to Portugal, and things come in the way, don't they? I know when I was first wanted to come to Portugal, that was about 15 years ago, and things happened, and I didn't come. And then the circumstances changed, which allowed me to just say to Mrs. M, okay, we can do it now. Shall we do it? Yes. And we took action. Inspirational. That's absolutely fantastic having Cindy Vine on the show this morning. Keep in touch with her via her YouTube channel. Joao F is here. Good morning, everybody. And Francis advice to everybody this morning: any expats and locals will do themselves a favor trying out those South African staples there. Sorry for being so late. Where you been? Very busy morning. No problem. You can always catch the show on catch up. So let's see what people have been sending in, shall we? Rebel Mama, great to see you. It hasn't been updated for quite a while, but the old guard was replaced in the last election, so I hope that will change. I'm not sure what that's referring to there. Just as a matter of interest, Amalia Rodrigues, the great fado legend, of course, the great cultural icon of Portugal, Amalia, simply, like Cristiano, Amalia. But the Rodrigues family were from Castelo Branco, so the area is special, the heart and soul of. I know I say Coimbra is that, but central Portugal. That is the heart and soul of Portugal, isn't it? I know that's a contentious thing to proffer there. And we've got our initial consultation with EI in 3 weeks. So I think that's a reference to taking action. What's going on with you, though, and the New Zealand government? Old giggling Jacinda there telling you the most horrible news and then sort of giggling and laughing. What is wrong with the woman? Okay, let's see what's being sent in via WhatsApp this morning. I know quite a lot of things. As I turn my back for a moment, and then a load more things pour in, and thankfully we turn the notifications off for that. Let's have a look. Who was it who sent in the picture of the chestnuts this morning? Let me just go check with that. Castanja. Okay, so Castanja here in Portugal. Castanja there in... Who sent those in? Let me just find out. I think... look what we found in Finland. Portuguese chestnuts. Thank you so much. Who is that? I'm confused here on my. I know that's one of you here, but it's confusing. It's Elra, of course. Elra, thank you very much for that. It is confusing when I'm just getting numbers rather than names here. So thank you very much for that. Portuguese chestnuts recently found in Finland. Okay, one for your I did it in Portuguese. Okay, this is one from Pam. I spoke on stage in Portuguese. Wow, it was 2018, so maybe I'm due a new challenge. Now, I'm going to show that picture of Pam speaking on stage. That takes a lot of guts, doesn't it, to do something like that? So well done to you, Pam. Special award for you, speaking in Portuguese on stage. That is a milestone moment, and some of the other people, presumably, who were delegates at that same conference. And also, yesterday, you sent to me, we were talking about with Michael Heron, Heronius Maximus yesterday, which football team you follow. And of course, over there, that's Leiria, isn't it? That's not your hometown of Alcobaça. There is one of those beautiful Euros stadiums that were created in multicolours. You might have seen those if you're travelling around Portugal. There's a similar one in Aveiro. And the iconic goalkeeper there is Rui Patricio, the national goalkeeper, and a monument in his honour outside the Leiria Stadium there. Okay, yes, please share. What's this? Oh, lighting up Christmas. Well done, James. Praça da República in Ericeira. That one. This one from James. Yeah, a bit light on these at the moment, everybody. Where are you lighting up Christmas pics? Please send them in. But this is a beauty, isn't it? Thanks to James for this one. Praça da República in Ericeira, and a busker there. That looks like a lovely scene, and there's a lot of calçada under your feet in Ericeira there. And I think it's a very blue and white town, and maybe the Christmas lights reflecting that as well. And a very mild. Is that 14 degrees on the digital readout there? Pictures also in this morning from Jean, who I think had possibly sort of mixed feelings about being in the capital. I think enjoyed it enough, but it didn't feel like home. And the great news to report from Jean is that Jean has secured a dwelling, a rental in Fuzeta. How about that, everybody? And I'll give you the background on this in a moment. But look at that. That's not bad for winter in Portugal, is it? That lovely scene there, which I think is just down the road from the new dwelling. And that is the view from the new apartment. Nice swimming pool there. And I was thinking here, look, I'll tell you a bit more about this and Jean's setup there. But there's a concrete mixer still. They just must be finishing off the back garden there. And there's a concrete mixer there. And I'm thinking that's going to be good for mixing up large quantities of cocktails. Just spray it, just jet wash it, and then chuck all the booze inside. What can Jean tell us about this? The pictures that came in yesterday. Thank you, everybody, for so many pictures and videos that are being sent in. Jean, where are you? Okay, yes. What is it that Jean says? Yes, it's going absolutely awesomely. I love the Algarve, says Jean. Let me put the picture back on the screen so that to accompany what Jean's telling me here. This is the new home, blue and white again. So that's the new home. It's going absolutely awesomely. I love the Algarve. Rented a beautiful apartment in Fusetta yesterday. I do not. Oh, okay. I think Jean's having some trouble commenting on the show here, but I have the whole top floor. Balcony east, sunrise over the ocean. Balcony west, sunset over the mountains. Lovely countryside. I could not be happier. Isn't that lovely? Fantastic. And that little scene, this other one, let me just put that back on the screen for you. That little scene there, I think it's just a couple of kilometers away from the apartment. And hold on a minute. Got too many screens open here. About 2 kilometers from the apartment. Train station is on the same road, about 1 kilometer. That's very well connected, isn't it? And it's about the same price as my cute little studio in Westwood. So it sounds like it's all falling into place for you, Jean. We'd love to hear a story like that. And we will hear more stories of this kind tonight because Ask Our Expats special this evening. First Thursday of every month, we have the Ask Our Expats team available to you at your service. And there you go. Free online event every first Thursday of every month from 7:30 tonight until 9 p.m, where I go on to hang out with the Expats Portugal Plan people. But tonight, the Ask Our Expats team are hosting some newly arrived here in Portugal. We have the legend who is Earl. Earl's joining us, as is Lonnie, as are... who else is joining us tonight? Jay and Diane as well. Jay and Diane on that panel of new arrivals as well, talking about their experiences. So really looking forward to that. It's going to be a great evening. Find out from people who live here already, find out from people who are new in the country how it's going for them. And swimmingly, I think, is what I hear on the grapevine, and we'll find out ourselves tonight if that's the case. From 7:30, book that on our website. Go to expatsportugal.com and click on the webinar pull down menu. Look, who's this that's joining us on the show this morning? Oh, a lot of files. I need to just delete a couple. Sorry about this. I think this is a nice picture to end with this morning. This is Alpina, apparently. I think Colin sent this in this morning. Let me see if that is the case. Okay. Nuno, yes, let's talk later on. Andy Gilchrist sent in a picture as well. Ice on the bonnet there. That's got to be, you must be in the UK right now. And a couple of photos from the Serra da Estrela. They've got to be shown. My goodness. Oh, yes. I'm going to do that in just a moment. And who is that who's sending these in from the Serra da Estrela this morning? Can you claim those pictures when I show them in just a moment? Okay, let me just download them all because they've got to be shown. The mere mention of Serra da Estrela has produced these lovely images. Thank you very much, Martin. Right? Okay. Where was I? Oh, yes, it was Colin, wasn't it? I think who sent in the picture of Alpina. It was. This is Alpina, everybody. And Colin says, "I wished I was as relaxed as Alpina." Not many creatures on the earth can relax as well as a cat can. Look at that. Amazing. They know how to do that. I need to just delete a couple of things before I can show you these pictures of the Serra da Estrela. Yeah, do join us tonight from 7:30. Should be a lot of fun. First one from the Serra da Estrela then is this. Let me just fire it up for you. Beautiful morning. I think this is this very morning. Thank you, Martin, for these. And yes, look at that little stream in Serra da Estrela. And that feels crispy to me. Beautiful part of the world. Serra da Estrela there. Thank you very much, Martin, for those. So I'll wish you a good day and good morning. No, I won't. Look, there's suddenly stacks more comments. we can't go just yet without paying some attention to you in the chats here. Elra, chestnuts was me. We got there in the end, didn't we? Jacinda, we must resist the bad ideas. Lockdowns do more damage than the virus. 1 in 4 young people affected have considered suicide. Yeah, it looks like you share a similar response as me there, Max. I just wrote to Portugal asking for clarification on my desire to move there with my Finnish residency. Fingers crossed. Well, that's great news. If that has happened for you, Suze, I would be so delighted for you. That's fantastic, isn't it? Carl, to get names in your WhatsApp, you need to add contacts to you. I know I do, Matty, but sometimes they just come in on the morning. I know I'm sounding like a proper technophobe, but it's not as easy sometimes as you're making out there. Okay, Natalie, not happy about Max's comments there. And usually when we get into this territory, it does get a bit eggy. And I must admit, I think there's enough to say on a factual level without the personal insults there, Max. A typical tear up there, a typical Max Flight tear up in the comments. So personal attacks are never cool, says Thunder, except towards Carl. I'd swap Jacinda for Boris in a heartbeat, says Prof. Eusebio. Is there a webinar tonight? Yes, Suze. I hope I've detailed that for you now. And what's this, Max? You Jacinda fans are immune to the suffering of ordinary people and business owners. Oh, it doesn't sound like it's improving any in the comments there. Whenever people use someone's physical appearance to attack, they're always referring to a woman. Yes, Natalie Gray. It is misogyny. Max, sorry 1,000 times. The stupid software changed your name after I wrote it. Keeps happening to me. I always have to read everything before sending it. Yes, join the club there. Lockdowns widen the gap between rich and poor. Look at the massive increase in wealth of Gates/Bezos. That's true. That's true. But I think you've undermined yourself a little bit, Max, with the personal attacks there. What a beautiful house. That's the one in Fusetta, isn't it? No one likes lockdown, says Natalie Gray. Everyone has suffered, but you don't need to call names. I think we've established that. Welcome, Cindy Vine from Joao F this morning. Those guys always get richer, so it's not because of the lockdown, says Antonio F. Quite a little bit of an eggy atmosphere this morning. We started off with vegan extremists, didn't we? And now we've got a little bit of toing and froing in the chats and comments. Bad ideas deserve criticism. Simple facts, says Max. Antonio, pray. Look what happened over the last 20 months there. Max is mistaking exploitative capitalism for lockdown. All this, I think this is possibly springboarding a new debate for us here. Small businesses and family operations utterly bankrupted while Big Pharma and Amazon flourish. I think there's some truth in that, isn't there? Midlife, any evidence to... Oh, okay. I don't think I need to deep dive into all of these. Carl, can I post a YouTube video about the Portugal Pavilion Expo 2022 Dubai? You can, or send it to me. If you send it to 913-590-303, Abu, I would be delighted. If it's your video, that is, and you're giving me permission, I would be delighted to share that with people. That's great. Oh my goodness. That's getting interesting in the chat this morning. Play nicely, everybody. Come on. You can block people here in the YouTube chat. Click the 3 dots next to their post. Let's keep it nice, everybody. Come on. Keep it respectful. Keep it lawful. And let's keep the conversation open, okay? We lead with that example here on the Good Morning Portugal show. Carl spent last night trying to figure out how to simply sort out the testing system when we return to the UK from Portugal to stop us from being locked up for too long. Talking to somebody yesterday who says they are facing a 10-day quarantine again, returning to the UK. I'm sorry, Chris, I can't throw any light on that. What's all this about you trying to wrap up before 10 a.m.? I thought to myself, 10-2, yeah, we're going to get away for an early bath here. And then, maybe I shouldn't have mentioned Jacinda. What's this? Toodles Rebel. Is that another typo there? Sadly, it's not my video, says Abu. But, well, I think we might have people in our community who can send some pics from Dubai. Tried to send you a super chat, Carl, to thank you for your balanced handling, but I'm in Johannesburg and it would convert to ZAR. Okay, interesting. All right. And there's some blocking. That's a new thing. I think there's some blocking going on between people in the chat here. I could do a whole hour based on just on this, on how we might talk to each other, or how we might not talk to each other. And perhaps we should at some point. Come on, us of all people. I think we need to set a great example of being able to manage things we don't like without necessarily having to go straight towards personal insults or blocking. Perhaps a discussion for another time. And perhaps something that happens in these somewhat strained and emotionally heightened times. But don't forget, guys, this is about, I think what we're about here is lighting up Christmas. And it's very easy, is it not, to get dragged into emotional responses, which we might later regret or might have handled in a different way if we'd only just taken that first breath or counted to 10. We don't have to take everything personally or too seriously, do we? Sticks and stones, etc. And maybe, guys, you could do a search on YouTube for the Portugal Pavilion. I think probably if we talk to the government, we might get some video for the Portugal Pavilion from the Dubai Expo 2020. Best wishes, everyone. Always try and see other people's point of view. Good on you, Max. Well done. Nice way to finish. Hashtag light up Christmas. This is a time for togetherness. Nazare, looking forward to it again. I need some beautiful seafood and a coffee from San Martino de Porto. I'll be here waiting for you, Chris. Look forward to seeing you again. And I will wish you a very, very good day. Now, if you got upset then, it's just not worth it, folks, is it? Let's take a breath. Let's consider the good things in our lives. Very interesting, wasn't it? I noticed earlier on with the talk about the vegan extremism and the point I made there, about how we could go into that, couldn't we? We could go into trying to deal with what was referred to as a vegan extremism. And I think once we go down that route of confrontation, it takes us to, it puts us in a cul-de-sac, which is very difficult to get out of. And at the same time, I don't want to be, an overly positive Pollyanna type who doesn't look at the dark side or the shadow. I think it's important to do that. But I think we really need to keep our wits about us when we're doing that and be careful that we're not being dragged into sort of overly charged and difficult situations where those sort of baser instincts in us, and we've all got them, let's face it, get called to the fore. So let's keep on keeping on here and setting a great example of being respectful towards each other and practice. It's all about practice, isn't it? It's all about practicing being, more so than ever, being with people who we don't like or whose ideas we don't like, and not necessarily harumphing and blocking them or disappearing or putting them down, even if we think in our own minds they're absolutely wrong and that we're absolutely right. I think we can. I think we can do something a little bit better than the blocking thing and the counter put downs and those sorts of things. Animal kingdom uses shunning for bad behavior. Humans use blocking as a primal reaction. Let's be respectful and grow. Nicely said, Suze. Face it, we shouldn't be calling names. We have a common enemy in the rich. They're the big problem. There is some great vegan food out there. I love it when you can't tell it's vegan. Wonderful surprises all the time. Thank you very much. Some food for thought there. That's vegan. Vegan food for thought, isn't it? With some of the things that have come up in this show today. It's all about managing ego and not needing to be right or winning. Well said, James. Well said. And we can only do that for ourselves, right? Everyone has their own worldview and opinions. Some we like, some we don't, but it teaches us patience, humility, and understanding. There you go. Thunderdog Natalie, you nailed it. But I'm uncomfortable with that. A common enemy in the rich there, Natalie. Carl, you are a great mediator. Well done. Thanks, Dorothy. It's not always easy, but it is my commitment. Absolutely. It's not always easy, but yeah, I am committed to making this a place where people can stay in the room. Me and Mrs. M have an important principle, is that we've dared each other really to be very honest with each other. And one of the things that needs to go with that, a contextual matter with radical honesty, if you like, is to be able to stick around and clear up the mess. And that's what we do. And I would urge us all here to do the same thing. As loathsome as we might find each other's behavior on occasion, and we're human beings, and I'm sure we would, right? That we recognize that we have a supportive community, and one that isn't just about making quick stings and put downs, because you can get that elsewhere on the internet, can't you? It's almost like the internet was made for that stuff, the hit and run, put down. Twitter comes to mind. But here, I think we're capable of falling out, but being there for each other, and not necessarily having to like or agree, but being there for each other, because we're bigger than our minor and petty disagreements, which always seem bigger, don't they, when they've got an emotional charge added to them. So rich equals bad, poor equals good. I've walked into some socialist classroom. Max is leaving shouting, not all the rich, the elites. And as well, that's the other thing, isn't it? How on earth? I mean, I take my hat off to all of you being able to express yourselves, or at least try, in a chat comment format. That's never going to go especially well, is it? I'm able to just go on and on and on here with the articulations of what I'm thinking about, and you've got to just express yourself in a few words and quite quickly. So I take my hat off to all of you there, and thank you for being so good-tempered in a way, or at least coming back tomorrow to clear up any mess that we've got. Natalie, being rich has never been a priority, and if you think Bezos, etc., pulled themselves up by their bootstraps, you're wrong. They all started with lots of money. So Natalie, obviously, with a lot to say about the elites and the wealthy. Always remember that the person that has everything can also have nothing. Remember, we're not supposed to agree on everything. If that was the case, we would be sheep. Be kind whenever possible, and it's always possible. That's the Dalai Lama, quoted there by James. And isn't it good that we're open to conflict in a way here, and then we get to this? So proud of you all. I have plenty of time for the alternative views, but I don't think that's what was happening. Let's don't both sides this. I'm not sure what you mean there. I'm in Elon's town of Johannesburg now. Just read his book. You could benefit too by reading more, Natalie. Max, I think it's something about the way you communicate, possibly there, that may not get you the best results. That's my opinion, just my opinion. I'm still just eating popcorn. Yes. Okay. We look at this. The popcorn is really. Shall I just go get some popcorn and sit and watch here? No, I think I'm going to end the show there. But I'm not running away from this. We can do this again. We'll have another opportunity to do this. We will demonstrate ourselves big enough to cope with conflict and be committed to respect ultimately and compassion. Okay. Culture wars come to Good Morning Portugal. Sad. Oh, come on, Kate, stop it. And bon dia a todos from Ubi Ominominum. Culture wars. Yeah, let's not sort of shorthand it into something that then makes it look like we're not responsible for. We're responsible for this community and for this conversation. So I'm not open to the idea that we're being summarily consigned to some sort of a shorthand. This is our conversation, this is our community, and we can be responsible for it. Okay, so let's do that. I would say. I'm late. Did I miss anything? Peters 22. Good topic for Saturday's show. How would you articulate it, Chris? What would you call this? Is it the managing of difference? Is it the managing of conflict? How would you characterize what we're dealing with right now? I'm interested. Jeff Jackson, light up Christmas, celebrate Portugal. Kathleen, I agree, says Max. Great job, Carl. I'm impressed with your ability to put out fires. Beautifully handled, Carl. Thank you, Max. Looks like joining the conversation this late might have been good. No worries. Ubi we will. This will continue, I'm sure, in some way, and I think it's really important to let it happen again, as I say, with respect. Looking forward to this evening. So glad I tuned in today. Nice one, Suze. I like to have discussions, but people need to be respectful and be actually interested in talking, not being right, like you said. And don't you think we all have that occasionally? We have that ability to want to be right or to make others wrong. And it's not the best of us, is it? But it happens. And again, I would urge you to stick around and clear up the mess. We are some amazing people. Effective communication. Oh, come on, Carl. There is no economic argument here, but plenty of knee-jerking. Yeah, I think that's what happens when you have to express yourself in short bursts of comments and chats. But, okay, but that just sounds like a judgment and a put down to me, Kate. There's more to it than that, is the point I'm making. Conflict resolution before the conflict starts. Interesting. Discussion of tech douche pros really goes well, but agree with calling out the sexism. Oh my goodness. Okay. Clearly, this is something we can give extra space and time to. I'm so up for that. I really am. You've excited me this morning in my commitment to resolving and demonstrating a way of being here that is not the standard. I'm just so bored and tired with how easily people go to polarity and the politicization of everything. I'm well up for a chat of that kind, but now is not the time. 7 minutes past 10. I'm up for it if you are, and I'll see you real soon. Take care and bye for now. We had to end it at some point.